Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We can go to the next day.
Yeah.
You're down at the docks with your potential father-in-law and everything. And everyone wakes up the next morning. You get a letter from Captain Rod saying that the other sailor was found floating in the waves that night, or this morning early, and has been rescued alive.
The other guardsman.
The other guardsman, yep.
Oh, that's good.
Beaten badly, but alive. And yeah, your father-in-law or to-be father-in-law Richard asks if you need any other time.
No, I think we're done here. I think Rod and the guard can handle it from here. If your business is finished, let's continue on our journey.
Well, something came up last night, so we're not quite ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing to be worried about.
No, good news actually.
Marvelous.
Yes. I was thinking how how brave you've been in apprehending these criminals and everything, and I was talking with some of the other guards. We found them down by the docks here on our way back last night, and they said that they showed us the wares, asking if we could help interpret what was going on, and I asked what the state of the status of the supplies of these people who are being arrested were, and it sounds like if convicted, they will be taken in by the crown and sold at auction, or at least by the local lord here. So I went on down late last night, to the Baron here in town and asked if we could buy the wares of the warehouse at a lower rate. I'm just waiting to hear back from the local lord, see if we can pick up all the ill-gotten goods of these damned fools.
So, out of character, right? That even if that stuff's stolen, what he's doing is probably still legit because at least the crown's getting money for it.
Yeah. It's like if when you die and your property goes to auction because of your debts, they just get sold off. And even if it was illegally gotten to begin with, now it's legally being sold.
So I feel slightly uncomfortable that I've, directly benefited him with my actions, but I sort of see it as a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. Well, I can spend a day in town if you need another day.
Hopefully it won't take too long. We're just getting word from a friend of mine, actually. Well, maybe friend's too strong of a word. We've bumped elbows a few times on some ships in the past and have a good rapport.
The Baron? Mm-hmm. And yourself? Huh.
Yes. There have been a couple of difficult to procure things that he's asked for me to find. Some elven wines, which are particularly hard to get down here. Usually they go through Matava, and the Matavans love elven wine, so there's not much passed on afterwards. Mm-hmm. But I know some people in Matava, and I've managed to pick them up a whole case.
It's a useful friend to have.
Very.
Well, very well. I shall wait on the ship.
A few hours pass, and then you see the crates from the jail and the ones left in the warehouse being loaded onto the ship, minus the halfling feet, of course. Those have been taken and burned, or at least Richard tells you.
Yeah. Okay.
And you guys set off. Let's take a look at our map here. You head up to Bon Ferris for a quick meeting and unloading a few crates here and there and picking up a few other crates.
Yeah.
Richard seems happy to talk to you about business and tells you about the last time he was on Bon Ferris. He met this wonderful young lady. She was just a real charm to speak to. And it was a shame that, she was already betrothed because he's got a mind to find a wife after, his last wife passed, unfortunately, and begins to open up a little bit about some more details of the family.
Okay, so it seems like his wife died of what, natural causes?
He hasn't specifically said. You can absolutely ask, but he's just mentioned that she died.
No, I think I'll avoid the conversation unless he seems to want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I ask him if he expects any other trouble in our journey.
No, it was just Pernissus I was a little worried about. The rest of the journey should be quite easy going, actually. It's more of a milk run, but an opportunity for us to chat. I suppose you've had some time to think about it. Do you have a preference between my daughters? Because I know that they have, between them, there's a preference.
Yes, well, I do find your younger daughter interesting. I think an intelligent woman's a very attractive trait. However, I am reluctant to force her to marry me if she's not taken with me.
That is a polite way of putting it, but yes, she's never been one for the things you would expect from
Yes.
your children.
I'm sure she'd make a fine sister-in-law.
Fine woman indeed.
Your older daughter seems suited to a life at court.
She would do very well, I've always thought.
And she's very easy on the eye, if you don't mind me saying.
I don't. She takes after her mother in that way.
Well, a lucky man you are. And me, it seems. I think Melissa would be my choice.
He nods. All right. Well, I think we can settle that then.
I shake his hand and ask if he's got a drink to commemorate.
He does. He opens a crate, pulls out a nice bottle of bourbon,
Nice.
pours you each a double serving, and yeah. It's a nice voyage from Bon Ferris down past Bon Dundasir, past the cold, freezing Frostlands, where he talks about the oddness of the area and mentions how it's bizarre that this area is so cold. Wonders aloud at how the curse of Caledonia has reached this far north, and also muses to you about how the loss of all the great treasures down there and a whole kingdom of wealth locked away for completely out of reach of anyone.
Setting the scene for the future, yeah. That's interesting. So I ask him then, like, was the Frostlands not frozen before the...
Nope.
Ah.
Terrible place. Totally uninhabitable. Except
It's
for whatever
interesting.
bizarre monsters live there.
Because the priests would have you believe that Caledonia was cursed by the gods. But if the gods cursed it to be cold, then why would the south of Drekis be impacted? It's almost like there's some other thing casting a radius that causes everything around it to be frozen.
A lot of men have tried to examine the will and mechanics of the gods. It doesn't
Nice.
go well. I don't presume to know. I leave their domain to them and my domain to me.
I suppose putting mortal logic to try and reason with the gods is foolish.
I mean, would you destroy an entire civilization just for the sins of... I don't even know why you would destroy an entire civilization. I can't imagine it. It seems
You're
unjust.
Well, the gods work in mysterious ways. I'm sure they have a plan for us all.
Well, certainly it seems they have a plan for me, and I am happy to be part of their plan. It's been working out quite well.
Yeah.
You arrive in Stoneport a little bit later and hop off the ship there and go around kind of, again, loading and unloading. There's another meeting that Richard needs to take or wants to take and kind of brings you along with it. Can you give me a perception check as you're walking through the streets of Stoneport?
Yeah. 26. Perception today has been A-okay.
Nice. So as you're heading into this warehouse to meet with one of his suppliers here of Drakisian wine, which actually comes from Rencor, but like Rencor's a shithole. No one wants to go there.
Rencor.
Yeah, it's just a little bit northwest of Stoneport.
Okay.
As you're heading into this warehouse, you catch sight of Nancy from back in Pernissus.
That's that's an interesting coincidence.
Yeah, she is maybe 3 blocks away. Let's call it like 600 feet away, down the docks, clearly watching the two of you as you go to enter this building. She's far enough away in a foreign enough environment that there's no way in hell you'd ever catch up to her.
Yeah.
If she wanted to bolt for it, but she's there and watching you.
Is she standing by a ship, though?
She's standing near some buildings, alleyways, boxes, crates, docks, water.
I leave it, but later that night or later that day, I might head to the docks and look for the ship that I was trying to jump onto.
Okay.
See if it's there.
Sure. It is here in Stoneport that while you're talking with this meeting, Richard mentions kind of very off the cuff, like, oh, it's been such a great blah, blah, blah. You know, we just picked up some iron ore really cheap over in Pernissus because my son-in-law here is so great. By the way, have you met my new son-in-law? Wedding hasn't happened yet, but he's the one. We've already picked out the daughter and everything. It's going to be great. You get introduced back and forth, but this mention of cheap ore piques this guy's interest, and before your very eyes, a deal goes down where it gets sold at market value, even though you know he picked it up for like half of what one would typically buy wholesale for.
How much has he just made then?
He's easily made like 700,000 copper.
700 gold, is that?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I didn't say anything.
Yeah. It's a quick deal. No, 700,000 copper should be 7,000 gold. That's probably too high then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably closer to like 50,000 copper. 70,000 copper. Yeah. There we go. That's better.
Pretty good going. As we leave, I make mention of the fact that I've spotted one of the people from the smugglers group in town here, and maybe you should be careful talking about the ore.
He nods slowly, understanding your concern. What do you think they're doing here?
I don't know. I'm going to go and take a look at the docks, see if I can see their ship. I suggest you head back to you can accompany me and you can go onto our ship and I'll continue my investigations. I don't think I'll be too long.
Do you think my life is in danger?
I shrug. I say the safest place is probably the ship.
He heads back to the ship.
And I up and down the docks and look for the ship that I chased.
The ship that you chased is not here. It was nighttime, but you got a good enough look at it. It had only one mast and had a forecastle, but no aft castle. None of the ships here match that description. So it's definitely not any of these.
Okay. I go and ask the harbour master about Nancy, if she's seen her. I assume she'd be the captain of whatever ship she was on.
The harbor master nods. Yes, there's a woman that came by, matching that description. She flipped some pages. Name was Marigold, though, not Nancy.
Marigold. Okay. Well, is she docked here?
She points to a ship docked maybe 4 boats over from Richard's ship.
Okay. I'm going to search it if that's all right.
She looks you up and down, sees the ranks of knighthood on you, and nods.
Okay. Does the dock have town guards here?
There are a few dockhand guards. Yes.
I will go and speak to them and ask the harbour master for a description of this Marigold, and if she shows up, arrest her.
It will be done.
All right, and I go on board the ship.
There are some people on board who protest, but seeing your, knightly rank, do little to interfere. The ship seems legit. There's actually no cargo on it whatsoever. It's just the supplies that you need to run a ship.
Yeah,
they must have just unloaded everything.
I ask for the captain's quarters. Or Marigold's quarters.
Sure. You get to the quarters, but they are locked.
I ask them to open.
Sorry, captain's got the key. No one else.
Very well. I take a step back and
bust down the door on the ship.
Yeah, brute force the door.
All right, give me an open doors check.
Is it a D100 or is it just a D20
it's a D20.
plus? All right.
Not plus your strength. There's a specific.
Yeah. I got it. 32.
Nice. All right, you kick the door off the hinge right away. One of the dock hands goes running. Or not dock hands. One of the sailors on the ship goes running. The door's open.
So you go running somewhere, or does he look like is he just fleeing, or is he...
He's going up the top, up onto the deck, and who knows from there.
Okay. I guess I'm on my own, so I go look around the room.
It's cozy. It's smaller than you would have expected for a ship captain's quarters. There's a nice little bed, a desk, a large foot locker, banded in metal with a nice big heavy padlock on it. Documents, papers, all sorts of things. Most of them are in common. Give me a perception check while you search the room.
All right. Had to happen at some time.
Yeah. So you're opening drawers and looking around for stuff when a heavy-set woman shows up in the doorway, blocking your light, blocking some of the light, and says, "What the hell do you think you're doing on my ship, looking through my stuff?"
Excuse me?
What the hell do you think you're doing on my ship, looking through my stuff?
Your name is...
My name is Rachel, and this is my ship.
Rachel, do you know anyone by the name of Nancy?
No.
Marigold?
Yes. It's
Oh,
one of
Marigold's,
our workers.
Mm-hmm. And when did you meet Marigold? When did she come into your service?
What's this all about, huh? What are you doing on my ship?
I'd appreciate if you'd remove yourself from the entrance.
She crosses her arms and steps into the room and out of the entranceway.
Okay, I tell her to sit on the bed.
She stands near the bed, semi-complying with your orders.
Uh-huh. I know. Could you sit, please? You're making me uncomfortable.
Me, unarmed? You, with all the weapons? You're a bit of a cowardly knight, aren't you? She sits on the bed.
I don't want you to try and run, although I look her up and down and say, I doubt you'd get very far.
It's a new one on me.
I'm going to need you to come in for questioning, if that's all right. At this point, I'm assuming that you're completely innocent, but Marigold here, also known as Nancy, is a fugitive from Penissus and is to be arrested.
Why, that sly little minx.
So I assume that you're above board and you'll be happy to answer my questions.
Oh, happy. Yeah, we picked her up in Penissus. She said that she had been chased by brigands and needed to leave town because she didn't feel safe there anymore. She had some shiny golden coins to hand over for her passage. Hopped off here in town.
That sounds like a reasonable story. Do you mind, none of these documents I say, like glancing over to the ones that I was rifling through, they're not ciphered, are they?
She shakes her head.
Do you mind if I just have a look through?
I absolutely do mind.
Just to look for the cipher. I won't read any of them.
I can't stop you, but I ain't happy about it.
So I filter through the documents and give them a quick glance to see if any of them are ciphered.
No, they all seem to be in common. One of them appears to be in Matavan. One of them appears to be in a Kubin, but nothing.
So I organize them and put them back on the desk, and I say, could you open the chest for me, please?
She seems reluctant, but produces a key from her waist and unlocks the chest, removes the lock from it, starts to open it and looks at you and like really tries to judge you up and down as to whether or not she can trust you. Before opening a chest to reveal just like a hoard of gold coins and wealth.
Okay, I like move a few aside, make sure there's no like halfling's feet buried in there.
There are no halfling's feet buried in the golden coins.
I check the coins. Are they all like minted, draconian, maybe some Matavan coins?
There's a wide mix from all over Arcadia. A very broad mix of coins.
Okay, I nod and close the chest.
Okay.
And I hand her, if I've still got a few coins left, I'll hand her a few silver for the door. And say, I apologize about your door. Everything seems to be in order here. If Marigold returns and somehow isn't under arrest, can you please inform the harbour master?
As far as I'm concerned, she's responsible for my door, so I would be happy to knock some sense into her and hand her over to the harbour master.
Marvelous. Well, thank you for your cooperation. And I leave, and I nod to the sailors as I step off the boat. I'll go to the guards that I told to look out for her and just inform them of the story that she was lying about who she was and this ship's got nothing to do with it.
Right. Immediately they set out for finding, describing her to the other guardsmen around the docks and get ready to arrest her should the time come.
Yeah, I don't think this is my business, so I head back to Richard's ship.
Okay. Looks like they're all done there and ready to head back to Bon Dundasir and back up to Thickle Glade so the formalities can be dealt with and you can have a wife.
Marvelous. Yeah, I head back on the ship. I assume meet Melissa to happiness on her part.
Yeah, well, let's see. There's nothing in particular you want to do between. Let's actually want to go that way. Between Stoneport and Bon Dundasir, right? You're pretty content.
Yeah, that's fine. I wonder if there's anything to. As I pass Solwick, I might go and make mention to. Like I'll know the captain of the guard there, right?
Yes.
So I might just in fact, you know the bridge that you have to cross the river?
Yes.
Would there usually be guards on that bridge?
Sometimes, not always.
So if there's guards there, I'll just tell them my story. Otherwise, I ask Richard if we can make a detour to the capital for half a day.
Sure. He's happy to detour to the capital. It's been a very good voyage for him, much more profitable than he originally thought it would be.
Yeah.
So he's in a good mood and happy to take a little bit extra time. One matter of curiosity is that everywhere you stayed, you guys ended up just staying on the ship. He didn't rent a single inn room, and all of the food and trappings of your journeys have actually been fairly frugal. It just seems that his carriage and house are a show of wealth, but you've noticed the rest of the time he's kind of a penny pincher.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just good business sense on his part. I think like it's important for him to look wealthy to the people he lives with and the people around Solwick. But when he's out on business, he's not lavishly spending his money on himself.
Right.
So I don't find that too suspicious. Yeah.
So you can head by the capital, talk to the captain of the guard there, inform them of these details. Is there something specific you wanted to share with them?
No. I just explained that there was I just give what's the word, like a report on a debriefing, on what I've been doing, and I mentioned the fact that I paid a ship 10 gold to give chase, but I'll raise it with the princess another time.
Sure. They thank you for your work, and I think the two of you head all the way up to Thickleglade.
Yep.
And it's here that your to-be father-in-law produces Melissa, the older of the daughters, brings her into a room with the two of you, and says, "Darling Melissa, I have great news. It seems that you will soon be known as Melissa Marshall, which actually has quite a nice ring to it." She immediately throws her arms around her father's neck and gives him a big kiss on the cheek, and then comes over, gives a curtsy before you, and then extends her hand for you to kiss it.
Yeah, I do. There's no undue affection right now. It's all very respectful, right?
Right, right. But once it's done, once the formalities of the situation are done, she kind of skips around the room, a little bit happy and giddy. You said you're probably around your mid 20s right now?
I think I'm 26. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like a year younger than you. She's like 25. So you're
That's
quite
fine.
close in age.
Yeah. So I say to her, Melissa, my darling, from our brief conversations the last time we met, I assume you'll have a great number of ideas for the wedding.
I was hoping you would say something along those lines. I assume a man of your stature is just far too busy, so leave all the details to me. I'm sure Father would be happy to cover the expenses, and just find me invite list of whoever you think you would like to attend, and we shall make this happen. She turns to her father. When should we plan this for? And her dad's like, I don't know, whenever you want. The sooner the better. Can't wait to get you off of my hands. And she laughs. He laughs.
We all laugh.
Door laughs.
So I agree to the plan, and I say I need time to travel back to my family, to check in with the princess, and to come back up here. But perhaps if things could be arranged for a month's time, or is that too soon?
She thinks. Let's call it 8 weeks. 7 weeks.
There's no need to rush. No need to rush.
After
That's
the
fine.
equinox, during the spring. Seems like a good time.
Very well. Where do you have in mind for the venue? In Thickleglade, or would you prefer accommodations in Sulwick? I'm sure I could arrange.
Oh, she turns from her father to you. In Solwick, you say? You have something in mind?
I mentioned like a certain temple that I like to visit, maybe for the ceremony, and then there's a great deal. There's a great deal of nice halls. I'm not too.
You're acquainted with the princess. Do you think that we could hold it in the palace of Solwick?
I roll an etiquette check. I'm pretty sure that that's a no, but I'll just roll a check to see.
You know,
21.
it would be a little awkward. It's not impossible, but you would be like you'd be using up some favors to make that happen.
How many favors do I have?
This would be the majority of your favors, of your significant favors. You know?
Yeah, sure. Fuck it, why not? I tell her, yeah, why not? I'll see what I can do.
Her eyes brighten, she throws her arms around you, kind of leaps onto you, so you're having to hold up her whole weight,
Yeah.
peppers your cheeks with kisses, and says, oh, thank you. I've always wanted to get married in Solwick. I think this palace in Solwick is far more wonderful than even the palace in Wicthron and Renta. It's so cold and imposing over there. The Solwick Palace, and she proceeds to discuss it for a minute or two at length.
Yeah, it's a beautiful building. I need to speak with the princess, but I'll send a message to confirm.
I'm sure she'd be happy to. You're, after all, the successor to her bravest and most loyal knight, so why wouldn't she want you? In fact, it might be an honor for her to have us be married there.
Well, I wouldn't.
The heir to the largest merchant family, one of the largest merchant families, she says, throwing a glance to her father, in Drekis, and you, one of the finest knights in the kingdom. It would be a real cause for celebration.
That's the way I see it, but well, I'll just I need to speak to her first, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Melissa darts out of the room, saying something about a scrapbook that she's been keeping, and grabbing a couple of maids on the way. Standing outside the doorway, which is left open by the hasty Melissa, is the other daughter, Clarissa, who seems to have been listening at the door.
Yeah.
And stands back, kind of caught and amused and embarrassed.
I say to her as I go to leave, Clarissa, it's I hope that my decision doesn't leave you disappointed.
It does not.
Good. I'm glad. You're an interesting lady, and I'd be honored for you to attend and talk to you at the wedding.
She reaches into a coat pocket and hands you something wrapped in a cloth. This is for you.
I take it.
She curtsies and hurries away.
Am I on my own?
No, her father's in the room, a few feet away, watching, listening.
I mean, I open the handkerchief. What's it look like?
It looks like she has knitted you a hat or something like that. That has it's not, maybe knit is the wrong word. Embroidered, let's say, a scarf that has your family crest in it on the side.
That's nice. I put it in my. If I'm wearing my armor, I put it in like one of the pockets that I've got on my belt.
Sure.
All right, I nod. I turn to Richard and say, "Well, Richard, if our business is finished and the celebrations are over for now, then I shall return to the capital."
They are. I suppose I'll see you in 7 weeks.
Yes. Well, you may hear from me before then, but I probably won't return to Thickle Glade until later.
Of course.
I shake his hand.
He shakes your hand.
And then maybe I pull him in for a hug.
It's a manly hug with 1 or 2 pats on the back before it breaks.
Yeah. And my horse is here, right? I go to gather my horse. I call a servant and grab my horse.
It's all done. You can pack up and head home and sort out the details. And if you are willing to call in your favors, you can have your wedding in Solwick proper.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I think my next port of call is to go back to my village and inform my father that everything's... I'd like him to know that it's done if he's about to die.
You get back. Your father is alive. He and your mother look relieved to see that the deal has been made. And they are happy to then share with you some of the specifics of the dowry, which includes a very handsome... like 500,000 copper deal, which will, as part of the agreement, be passed on to them in order to keep your family name alive. And you actually won't be seeing a penny of the dowry, but it'll keep your family's house from falling into shame and ruin.
That's good. I think at some point I'd like to speak to Stephen again.
Okay. You find Stephen. He is sitting in the hall, playing with a dagger in one hand, pressed against his finger in the other. Feet kind of kicked up on the chair that serves as a rudimentary throne.
Okay, I go in almost sarcastically, like I don't know, genuflect, like whatever the correct term of action of reverence is, because he's technically the lord or whatever.
Right.
But sarcastically slightly, and I say, Stephen, can I have a word?
Sure, little Willie. What can I do for you, my humble servant?
I'm marrying the merchant's daughter, and I'm told that there's a significant dowry that will save our house from ruin.
Wonderful.
It
served
wasn't
your lord very well, then.
It wasn't in ruin when father took ill.
Well, you can see that as I am irresponsible, or you can see that as things were falling apart already, and then they caused father to take ill, and I've received all the blame of the mismanagement that was really his doing.
As disagreeable as you can be at times, you are still my family, and I'd hate to see everything that our father and his father has worked for fall into dust. So please, if there's anything I can help with, do extend an arm. I'd be happy to talk with you.
Right, because your older brother can't do anything right himself. You always have to step in and fix things.
I mean, you've always been the favorite, Stephen, not me. I was sent away as a child. You had everything, every gift. Look at that plate mail that you've got on the wall there. When was the last time you wore that? I could save my life.
Well.
So, we're not enemies here. I have no desire for your titles. They're yours to keep, to do with you as you will. It's not the life for me. Don't treat me as an enemy when we can help each other.
And what sort of help do you have to offer?
I shrug. I say, I do my duty for the crown. I try to act honorably, and I have respect for my family and my house. If in the course of your business you find need of me, please reach out. I'm not saying that you will, but if you do, the offer's there.
This, Richard fella has 2 daughters, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And they're both up for sale?
I shake my head. I think his younger daughter, well, I don't think she has a taste for men, if you catch my drift.
It's fine, but if the dowry's large enough, why not double our investment?
Well, if you look at it from his point of view, I don't think there's much to be gained from marrying a second daughter into our house.
Of the fact that your knighthood doesn't pass to your son, and my title of lord will pass to her daughter or her son.
Who would be of our house.
Mm-hmm.
I think he seeks respect for his business deals by having a knight in the family.
Well, we'll see about that. Would you, as a brother to me and as a servant to your lord, see if he would be willing to marry his other daughter off to me?
I nod. I say, I'll speak with him. I'm going to leave this conversation until after our wedding, if that's all right. It should be in a few months' time.
Fine. And tell me, is this other daughter, not that it really matters, but what does she look like?
I describe her. I say she's attractive, but perhaps not. Well, I picked the pretty one. Let's put it that way.
You always would.
Well, who wouldn't?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's not like I really will be caring for her one way or another. Just a large sum of money.
I shake my head slightly. I mean, if he's looking down, he doesn't see. But
Yeah.
I'd suggest some better marriages for him, but I'm not particularly politically motivated myself. So I look at him and, is there anything else, brother?
He reaches out a ringed hand and kind of holds it in the air before you.
I bow and leave.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just taking the piss at this point, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I gather my horse. I've already spent time with my parents, so I gather my horse and I head back to Solwick to speak to the princess and continue my normal duties.
She seems a little surprised that a person with your history and preferences would ask to use the palace for the wedding, but she agrees to do it.
Good.
Well, one day you'll pay me back for this, William.
I'm sure I will. And maybe I don't mention the 10 gold.
Yeah.
Right now. So if that's all, Princess. Is this Princess Sella or is this Princess?
No. Princess Sella comes to power like a few months before Rofro starts.
Oh, right. Okay.
This would be Princess Sella's mother, because this is 10 years before Frozen Frontier. So this would be Princess Sella's mother.
14 years, actually, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. I say, well, if there's anything else, Princess.
Nope.
All right. Well, I shall return to my duties. And I head back into the town.
Right. And I think that'll wrap us up for today.
Yeah.
What have you learned about William's past, or what new views do you have on Richard and your wife and your upbringing and all that jazz? Have you?
Well, it's certainly given some context to my wife, who up until now was not, explored too much.
Mm-hmm.
The woman that was in the prologue when we left seemed a lot less youthful than the one that we've just seen. clearly the life of a knight, or our marriage or her life has sort of at some point made her grow up and lose a lot of that youthful naivety and exuberance. But she seems like a nice person, which is good. Richard seems less suspicious than I originally had thought. Like, he certainly is an intelligent operator politically and financially. And it's no surprise to me that he gets one up on William when it comes to gaining control of the village. I mean, because by now he's actually, by all accounts, the lord of a village, isn't he?
The acting. There's a term for it. The
regent.
Is regent the right word?
Yeah. If you're the regent to a lord, it's you're acting in his stead. If he's away at war, incapacitated, or too young.
Sure. Then he is the regent of a village now.
Yeah. So that's gone well for him. I don't know. Maybe William's not smart. Maybe William's not savvy enough to realize this. But a man doesn't have that rise to power without doing some underhand things.
Yeah, finding a bunch of iron ore on the side of the road.
Yeah. Right.
It's not the first time he's come into surprise iron ore.
Yeah, sure. And I think another thing is that William's he's not politically savvy, but he's not stupid as well. And I guess he had suspicions about that story. But there comes sometimes in life where you have to put certain things above honor. You can't always pursue honor blindly, and I think that's an example, right? His family needed him, and willing to overlook some things like that to be able to secure the best thing for his family.
Yeah. Right. Well, I guess that is gonna fully wrap us up then. We will have another Frozen and Frontier episode next weekend. I think it'll be a full cast episode. And in about 15 minutes, we're gonna have some Fatal One. And
nice.
A whole bunch of other stuff is just gonna be coming down the pipe. So, any last words before we head out?
No, that should do it. Thanks for watching, guys.
All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Yep.